Interesting. No Nicholas Claxton, no Cam Johnson, and no Ben Simmons. Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics at the Barclays Center to take on the Nets. These are dogs walking in your building. Y'all know what I say about Boston. These are absolute dogs. Tatum nails the three. Other end, want to give a little credit to Lonnie Walker for coming to play since some of his teammates did not. And I love this pick and roll action here for Day'Ron Sharp, who finishes. I see something there in him. Cam Thompson, speaking of see something in somebody, Thomas, tunnel vision, only sees the net. He goes and what? Brooklyn holding on well against a team that hadn't lost thus far this year yet. Tatum, though, and Boston put the foot on the gas in the second. Tatum for three, Tatum deuce plus the foul. They all count the same when you're as good as Tatum. And then Kristaps Porzingis running the floor, and I respect Boston for respecting his hard work and efforts. Tatum beats the second quarter buzzer with a three, and just like that, the Celtics are up double digits. I'm telling you, they can do it to you, man. Spencer Dinwiddie nails a three, and just like that, Brooklyn has already trimmed a double-digit halftime deficit down to three. But then you got to deal with Drew Holiday. Pass to Brown for three, and then Holiday stopping on a dime, nailing the three. His footwork is so incredible. Boston's once again in the driver's seat. Cam Thomas going 1-on-5. He don't care. Thomas has led the Nets in scoring in 66% of their games thus far this year. He can score. Can he defend? Tatum says no. JT had a team-high 32 points. Brown had 23. This one actually rolls out, but his big fella's got his back. Kristaps Porzingis cleans up the mess. Big fella had 7 boards to go along with 22 points. The Nets were game, but the Celtics were gamer. 124-114 is your final. I see something brewing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about in the NBA right now. Ladies and gentlemen, when was the last time you watched a Brooklyn Nets game in totality? Your answer probably is going to be either the playoffs or when Kevin Durant and Kyrie were there. I'm going to say this to you guys. I had a chance to just sit down and watch Brooklyn over the weekend, and something very serious is brewing. Obviously, I cover them and I watch them while I'm watching other teams all the time. But I just want to sit down and watch Brooklyn dribble for dribble. And I'm sitting here watching Cam Thomas continue to light it up. And now we're at the point now where Cam, pretty much every single night, is the Brooklyn Nets leading scorer. Now, keep in mind, last year, when Mikal Bridges got there in the Kevin Durant trade, he was pretty much leading that team in scoring. And I believe the Nets as a squad were more receptive to Mikal leading the team in scoring than they are Cam. Here's why. Mikal is a guy that doesn't need his number called often. He will come on the basketball, but he will definitely come off of that bad boy. Sometimes he's the guy to get it last on a swing around with the corner three-pointer. Oftentimes, Mikal is hustling and finding ways to get involved in the game. Also, you got to keep in mind, Mikal didn't come over to Brooklyn alone. He came with another important piece in that Kevin Durant trade, Cam Johnson. So he's got friends over there. Mikal's also one of the more liked players around the league from what I see. I'm bringing that all up for a reason. I don't think Cam Thomas give a damn about any of this. Cam Thomas wears that number 24 for a reason. This dude believes he is the second coming of Kobe. So I am watching something brew really, really closely in Brooklyn as you see guys like Ben Simmons not play basketball, even though I believe this is the most important season in Ben Simmons' career right now. He's just sitting out games. They'll put an injury on it, but y'all know, like I know, when multiple guys rest at the same time and then have the audacity to sit next to each other on the damn bench, that looks like resting to me. That looks like designated rest coming off of a back-to-back. In my estimations, that's what that looks like to me. I bring that up for a reason. If I'm Ben Simmons, I'm getting on the court as much as possible because I don't want to see Cam Thomas continue to light it up the way he is. If I'm Ben Simmons, you will have to literally pull my ass off the court this year. I don't know what opportunities are going to be out there for Ben when this season is over. I don't. I'm telling you, this is how it's going to play out. Cam Thomas, on the other hand, you would believe the opportunities would be endless, but I'm asking myself, and I'm trying to ask people that also cover the NBA, right? What's out there for Cam? I'm just thinking of a team that y'all know I got a lot of faith in, the Memphis Grizzlies, right? Why wouldn't they go out and acquire Cam Thomas right now? I don't know if the Brooklyn Nets love what Cam Thomas is giving them right now. I love that he's an aggressive scorer, but it is tunnel vision. When Cam's on the ball, unlike Mikal Bridges, more times than not, ain't nobody else gonna get any motion. That is about Cam and Cam only. He's a scorer. The problem is his height makes him play point guard. And him at the point guard is him at the shoot guard. If that makes any sense to you. Cam Thomas wears number 24 for a reason. Think about that. That's a point guard wearing Kobe Bryant's number. Could you imagine if Kobe Bryant was 4 to 5 inches shorter than what he ended up being? A 6'1", 6'2" Kobe Bryant is probably Russell Westbrook. I'm just saying, y'all, like Cam Thomas is an assassin, but I have to compare it to Jeremy Lin. Like, I feel like over the years, I've heard too many people bring up Jeremy Lin's name when I see a guy go on a scoring, rage over like 10 games, right? And oftentimes I don't think those were comparable to what Jeremy Lin was, because I believe what ended Jeremy Lin's career earlier than he would have expected in the NBA at least was because Jeremy Lin was so lethal during his run in New York. It pretty much sucked the air out of anybody else on the squad. And yes, I believe guys were happy for Jeremy Lin personally, but professionally, they're thinking about their own money, their own contracts. We can't just sit around and watch this dude go ISO ball more times than not. If the face of the franchise, Carmelo Anthony, wants to do it, that's one thing. But Jeremy Lin wasn't commanding double teams. Teams were not going to bring a second guy over to Jeremy Lin. And they were just going to allow him to pretty much twerk defenses and torch defenses night in, night out. The problem with that was it ain't like Lin wouldn't pass the ball. Cam Thomas will pass the ball. That's just not what was on either one of their minds. So when I look at Cam, I think Jeremy Lin. And I don't know how long the Brooklyn Nets want to roll with the Jeremy Lin show. Coach Vaughn's got a decision to make. I do believe this is an important one. I am watching this because essentially what Coach Vaughn would end up having to do at some point this year is benching a guy in Cam Thomas that always comes ready to work. You can't pull him off the court. And to me, you see a guy like Ben Simmons, to me, who likes the game of basketball a lot and what the game of basketball gives him. Cam Thomas is in love with scoring and being a part of the game of basketball, in love with opportunities. I don't know how in the hell Coach Vaughn makes a decision to pull Cam Thomas away with the amount of buckets that he can get in a short amount of time in favor of Ben Simmons. But if you want to see what you got in Ben, you probably got to do that, right? I'll tell y'all, it's something to watch for all NBA fans out there. We're still very early in the season. Keep your eye on the Brooklyn Nets and how they handle this Cam Thomas situation. He is putting real pressure on Ben Simmons. Not to mention, he can do pretty much everything offensively that Ben cannot do. The only thing that Ben has in his favor is you can't teach 6'9" with the ability to run the show like a point guard. But at what point do we say, all right, the theory and the thought process of Ben Simmons is great, but the actual production of Ben Simmons is nowhere near what we can get out of tunnel vision Cam Thomas?
I want to salute you, homie, for building your own thing and doing your own thing.
Why build theirs when I believe I can build my own?
You've already done it, or I wouldn't be here.
I'm already the only elite sports and music journalist in the game today. My goal is simple, to be the best there's ever been. So, please don't go. Make sure you subscribe and follow the journey. It truly means everything to me. I tell stories. I talk music. I cover sports. I am culture. I am Ferro.